Good day everyone, this is John Vidal from BSED English 2A. My topic for today is all about presentation, practice, production, or what we call the PPP. Presentation, practice, production, or PPP is a lesson structure, a way to order activities in your lessons. The three-piece approach to language teaching is the most common modern methodology employed by professional schools around the world. This method was created around the early 90s. So presentation, practice, production, or PPP, this is a lesson structure, and many teachers who use this kind of method in teaching. In PPP also, this can help the teacher to picture out the whole class and also to picture out the interaction between the teacher and the learners during the class. Now let's talk about the first P, or what we call the presentation. A presentation phase is controlled by the teacher. The teacher might use a text, an audio tape, or visual aids to demonstrate a context or situation. From this, she will extract the required language forms. So, in this stage, the teacher has a huge time than the learners. And the teacher also has a control because the teacher will talk most of the time in presenting the lesson to the learners. For example, the teacher may show the class the following picture and model the following sentences. Mr. Smith is feeding the baby. Mr. Smith is feeding the baby. Mr. Smith is feeding the baby. Mrs. Smith is looking at her laptop. Mrs. Smith is looking at the laptop. So the teacher will write these sentences on the board and also to describe the grammar rule of these sentences. As we can see, the verb has been added ing, or what we call the suffix. So the teacher's role in the presentation phase, the teacher speaks up to 75% of the time as they are presenting information. So as I have said a while ago, that the teacher has a huge time than the learners. Second, the teacher focuses on accuracy when correcting students at this stage. So the teacher also focusing on the correct answers. The third, the teacher asks concept check questions to see if students have understood. So the teacher also will ask some question to the students if they really understand the discussion or the lesson. So this is also the learner's role in the presentation phase, which is student is the listener. So the role of the learners is to listen. So now we will talk about the second P, or what we call the practice. During the practice phase, learners practice saying or writing the language structure correctly. Typical practice activities include drills, multiple choice exercises, gap in queue exercises, transformation, etc. In this phase, the teacher's role is to direct the activities to provide positive feedback to students, correct mistakes, and model the correct forms. So, in this stage, the students have a huge time than the teacher. And in this stage also, the learners will undergo some activities like drills, multiple choice exercises, gap and queue exercises, transformation, and etc. In order for the teacher to know if the learners already understand the lesson. So this is also the example of practice activities. The example, the teacher will say read. The student one also will say I am reading. The teacher also will say play. The student also will say I am playing. This example is part of a drill. So as we can see, or as we can observe, the teacher will give a verb. The student will make a sentence based on the verb that given by the teacher. And on the sentence, the verb is already added ing. So, the second example of activities in the practice stage is gap in queue exercise. The first, Tom play tennis, we do our homework, I cook spaghetti. So the verb is in first sentence is play, the verb in the second sentence is do, in the third is cook. And we should uh, add ing to the verb. And sentence 1 will become Tom is playing tennis. Second, we are doing our homework. And the third, I am cooking spaghetti. In the teacher's role in the practice phase is that the teacher uses activities to practice new language orally in written format. So the teacher will use some activities in order for the learners to practice. And the second, the teacher models and corrects when mistakes occur. So when the students will answer some questions, will answer to the teacher during the activities, if the teacher will observe that the answer of the students have mistakes, so that the role of the teacher is to intervene or to correct the mistakes of the learners. The third is the teacher encourages lots of pair work and group work during this stage. So the teacher will make an activities by pairing or by twos and groupings or by group. And this is also that learner's role in the practice stage. Students speak up to 60% of the time, teacher up to 40%. So as I have said a while ago that at this stage the students have a huge time than the teacher. So now we will talk about the last P, or what we called the production phase. The production phase focuses on fluency and provides students with an opportunity to personalize the language learned by doing less controlled tasks, that is, by using their own ideas. In this stage, the students start to produce language more freely. For example, they might be given role play situations to devise and act out. So, at this stage, uh, the teacher is already expecting that the learners have already understand the lesson or have already mastered the lesson. In this stage also the learners have a huge time than the teacher. In this stage also, if the learners will answer, and if the learners will answer during the activities or performance, if the teacher will observe that the answer of the students are not correct, the teacher will not intervene the answer of the students during activities or performance. That's the difference. It is opposite with the practice. And if mistakes are made, they are pointed out after the exercise has finished. And this is the teacher's role of production stage. First, the teacher monitors but does not correct until the end. So, the role of the teacher is to monitor but does not to correct the mistakes of the students during the activities or the performance. Second is focus is now on fluency and rather than accuracy. So it is fluency is focuses on the ability to speak naturally, and accuracy is focuses on the ability to produce accurate answer. And this is the learner's role in production stage. First, students speak up to 90% of the time, teacher up to 10%. So as I have said that the teacher has the learners have a huge time than the teacher on this stage. Second, students use the language in a natural, everyday context through a practical task within minimal input from the teacher. So, the role of the learners also in this stage that they already mastered the lesson, and also they can use the things they understand during the lesson on this stage. So that's all. So thank you for watching.